Hey, hi, Lisa Marie here. Today I wanted to kind of share with you things that I did and what I've learned about the second stage after weight loss surgery, and that is something called full liquids. Now, remember I talked about in a different video about clear liquids. Clear liquids are things you can read through. You can actually see through it and read through it. Full liquids are a little thicker. Why they're called full liquids, I don't know. But if you think about it, a full liquid is something that can go through a, a funnel or a strainer or a straw without doing this. If it's that hard to get through the straw, that is not considered a full liquid. It's not. So, in the full liquid stage, if you didn't do it in the clear liquid stage, you definitely want to invest in some little containers that are giving you an ounce. This is a 1 ounce little cup thing that I got from Smart and Final. They don't have these at Walmart yet. They do have the 2 ounce ones. But your pharmacist or medicine that you've had in the past, they have these. And this is what you need to use because you still need to only take little tiny bites the size of your pinky nail. And if you're a lady and you've got big old long fingernails, that does not count. It just is the part of your nail bed, the part where your finger actually is underneath your nail. That's the size of a bite, even in this full liquid stage. That's the size of bite you need to be used to. And if you also didn't invest in a timer, I suggest buying a little timer, using the timer on your phone, even one of those little sand ones, whatever they're called, the little sand timers that you flip over. And then another really big thing, if you haven't invested in it, now is definitely the time. You can get a digital scale that you can do ounces or grams, which is really super handy. Every time I use a digital scale, by the time I'm scooping something in and I reach over here to put something more in it, it's turned off on me. So that's my least favorite. I actually use an old-fashioned scale like this because you can put anything on it like this and then use this little spinning thing back here and zero it out so that you're starting at a 0, and this has grams and ounces as well. And if you use a bigger container, same thing. You would just zero it out first, then put your product, your food in it, and it's going to tell you how much you're having. This is huge. This is huge. I bought this a super, super, super long time ago. Walmart probably, Kmart even, way back then. And it's been amazing. I love it. So whatever you need to do to be able to measure things is what you're going to do. Now, full liquids, even though it says full liquids, you should be able to take them through a straw. Please, 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 please. For these first maybe 4 to 6 weeks, don't use a straw. Just don't do it. And there's a couple of reasons. Because you can accidentally suck in air at the same time you're supposed to be getting in your fluids or your foods, and then it's going to cause pain, first of all, and it's going to make it so that you're not quite judging the right amount of a swallow. And plus, if you think about it, when you drink out of a straw, what happens? Your lips go like this. What do you get? Smoker's lips. Ah! So if you don't want all that wrinkly stuff around your lips, give up straws. I do drink out of a straw here and there, but I'm now a year out. I didn't start drinking out of a straw till probably 3 or 4 months, and then it was just very, very minimal. But I'm telling you, it's just, don't even think about it for the first 4 to 6 weeks at least. Now, the same with the clear liquid and the full liquid is you still have to manage and monitor your sips. This 1 ounce container should take at least 4 or 5 swallows to take that down. You should not be able to gulp it down. If you are, let me tell you, you're going to have pain. Everything's going to feel constricted. It's going to feel tight and twisted, and you're even going to feel cramps. You don't want that. Small and slow is what's going to be the right thing for you. And then remember, you still want to use the rule, the habit. You should, most people are still off this next section of the phase for work. So if you're sipping 1 ounce every 5 minutes, that's going to take you, what, 40 minutes to sip 8 ounces, right? Or 30 minutes to do, you know, if you want to spread it out every 10 minutes and do it, you're going to get in 4 ounces. And that's okay. And then you've got 20 minutes to kind of rest and relax your tummy. Now, when the top of the hour comes again, and you're going to actually introduce some of the more full liquids, I'm telling you, it's tiny, tiny bites. You need tiny, tiny bites. So as an example, here is something that you can use and you can enjoy when you're on the full liquids, and that is yogurt. Not with fruit, not with chunks. No, 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 no. It just needs to be plain, normal yogurt. Now, the thing with plain yogurt is it tastes plain and it tastes kind of gross, right? So you can invest in stevia drops that have flavor and just put 1 or 2 drops in, stir it up, try it. If you need another drop or 2, go ahead and do that. But you can add these, you can add the Torani syrups, they have sugar-free as well. You can even add powdered sugar-free pudding or powdered sugar-free Jell-O to your yogurt to give it an extra little bit of flavor. But again, start tiny, like a half a teaspoon, stir it up, mix it in, try it. It's amazing how our taste buds are so different after this. So, an example, when you're first starting full liquids and you're actually getting something that's thicker and more substance, this might just be your serving. You may only get to be able to eat 1 ounce. That's okay. You have all day. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. You might be able to do 2 ounces. It's a lot. This is a lot. This was my size of container that I used for everything at first, even in the pureed stage. This was it. But 9 times out of 10, I was only able to get down 1 ounce. And that's okay. Don't stress about it. You still have another hour in which you can do this. Now, kind of a good rule of thumb, especially even in this stage, you do want to still alternate your liquids and your foods and your liquids, because you want to get into that habit of having water between your meals and then having something that's considered a meal. To me, the liquid, there's so many liquid choices, you really have a lot of options for that. So the liquids now that you're going to have in the full liquid stage, you need to think about adding some kind of protein supplement to it. It could be dried, powdered, fat-free milk, and it could also be protein. And there's so many different protein powders out there. There's whey, there's soy, there's milk, there's vegetable, there's so many. I suggest getting at least 1 or 2 flavors that are, what do you call them, unflavored. You want to get some kind of unflavored protein powder. This is IsoPure, and they do make an unflavored thing. But if you notice what I did here, and it's backwards, I'm sorry. 1 scoop, the big old huge scoop that they give you in here, like this, that is 5 tablespoons. 5 tablespoons to give you 30 grams of protein. Personally, that makes things kind of thick. And I had a really hard time with adding this to my soup and my broth, my cream of wheat. It made it too thick for me. So I realized I really wasn't getting all 30 grams of the protein because I had to split it up. I had to double up my stuff in order to make it taste good. And that was kind of a bummer. So somewhere in there, and I know there's definitely controversy over this, but I found Gene Pro. And now when you order Gene Pro, it comes in a thing instead of a container. No big deal. Find any container. You can use a glass mason jar or whatever you want. The bag zips back up, use that. But I use the Gene Pro because to get the same 30 grams of isolate protein, look at that, 1 tablespoon. 1 tablespoon goes in things way better for me. The controversy about this protein powder is that how can you get 30 grams in something that doesn't weigh 30 grams? Well, you just have to pray about it and you have to do what's right for you. I talked to my sister-in-law who is a chemist and a scientist, and she works on crazy things like that, and she says the Gene Pro is higher concentrated, more concentrated, whatever, like dish soap. You buy a dish soap that's highly concentrated, when you go to use it, you only need to use a squirt that's like that big, and it makes bubbles this big. Instead of going to the 99-cent store and buying regular dish soap there, you have to use this much in order to get the same suds. That's what makes sense to me. This is what makes sense to me, and it's what works. However, I have another favorite protein powder that is a rice protein. And this goes really good in my tummy. They have flavors. There's vanilla and there's chocolate. But again, the scoop is big. It's a big scoop. So when you use it, you know, you have to have plenty of liquid in order to do that. Or you're just cutting down your protein. No big deal. You can add this to a soup in 8, maybe 16 ounces of soup. You're going to divide that by 4, so then your 30 is going to be divided by 4. Every time you eat, you're having a little protein. Then you can also go to a lot of places, or if you have a friend that has Shakeology or a friend that does isogenics, you can get that as well. But this is also a sample packet. I go to Mother's and Sprouts. I haven't seen it at Trader Joe's, but I haven't been there in a while. But they have this size of a sample packet. So you don't have to buy the big old hunkin' jar like this. You can buy the sample packet, try that, and see if your body and your stuff likes it. Because this is what happens. I had this amazing protein shake by Premier prior to surgery. I couldn't drink it after surgery. I don't know why. Tummy just said, sorry, I don't like it. I can use a little bit of it now to put in my hot tea or in my malto meal to give it a little bit of flavor and some protein, but I'm not getting 30 grams. I'm getting 10, 15 because that's all I can add to it. So there's a lot of different ways to get your protein. And the Dollar Tree, I'm pretty sure it was the Dollar Tree, has this hanging by the nuts and stuff, and it's called a protein on the go. And it's basically, you do this, get it all down there, powder, open the lid, add cold water to it, shake it, and now you've got a protein shake. Oh, amazing. And it's flat and skinny and can kind of be tossed in all kinds of stuff. So your reason you need the protein now is a lot of things. First of all, you need to sustain your life, right? And you need to follow whatever your doctor has told you. My doctor said try to get at least 60 grams of protein a day, up to about 90. So at first, remember, we're focusing on hydration, and now we're focusing on protein. So you just need to get that in there all in your day. Now let me tell you a fact that a lot of people don't know. I didn't know it at first, and I broke the rule. Your body can only process 30 grams of protein at a time. If you put in 60 grams of protein into something and you try to eat it or drink that and you think you're getting 60 grams, sorry, you're not. It won't work. It'll just go right through your body. It won't do any nutritional value for you. It won't give you any benefits whatsoever. You're just throwing away your money and you're filling up your tummy unnecessarily with something that you can use later. Then the other kind of thing about that is your body only processes that 30 grams of protein. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours for that to happen. So if you're just sucking on protein shakes and that's all you're drinking and you're getting 3, 6, 9, 12, you're getting 120 of that in you a day, I'm sorry. You're wasting it. You're wasting it. It's not doing you any good. And your body can have too much protein, and then that's all kinds of other issues. I won't tell you that now. But protein is good because it's what helps your body and your internal stuff heal. And that's what we want to do. And that's why your doctor gave you these 6 weeks. 6 weeks, everything on the inside needs to kind of function and proper and heal. The other benefit of protein is your hair will not fall out as much if you have protein and if you spread it out throughout your day. Don't try to cram it all in at one time. It won't work. So for this, step, stage, phase, whatever you want to call it, protein, and your fluids. And that's why the full liquids are nice, because you are still getting in your fluids. Now, the only kind of big thing I have to warn you about when you're doing all of these, and I'm going to show you the different options of what you can do, is you have to watch the sugar. Oh my gosh, you have to watch the sugar. I don't care what surgery you've had. My mouth's watering. I looked down at this and saw a fudgesicle. Made my mouth water. And so did the root beer. Anyway, you have to watch the sugars. The sugars are not good for us. They're not good for our body, and they're definitely not good for healing. So don't do it. And you still want to time. You still want to have time between your sips, as well as between what you're going to be having like food and what you're going to be drinking, because the next stage, when that comes up, it's going to be super important to have that. Now, I'll show you a couple of things that I have done. Yesterday, or the other video I did, of course, Jell-O is always a thing. It is also, you can have anything in the clear stage in the full stage. But what's really cool about the full stage is you get to add in some things that are thicker, some things that are colder, some things that are hotter, and it makes life just a little bit more bearable in these beginning stages. I forgot to mention Popsicles. Popsicles are definitely a clear liquid. I know you can't really read through them, but if you were to put it in a thing and let it melt, you could see through it. So a Popsicle does count on clear liquids. It also counts on full liquids, but it's only about 4 ounces, 2 to 4 ounces. And the problem with Popsicles are they melt, and they melt fast, and they melt faster than you can eat or drink. So just like taking a sip, when you take a little sip of water, you can only take a little bite of a popsicle. Because if you take too big of a bite, you're going to have too much liquid in your mouth, and when you swallow it, it might get stuck right in here. It's going to feel like something on me. It's going to feel stuck, and that's not a pretty feeling. It's not fun, so you don't want to do that. So Popsicles and Fudgesicles are fun, but hey, if it melts on you, don't try to eat it faster. Just put it in a container, put it back in the freezer, or throw it in the trash, because I'm telling you, it is not worth the pain. So on full liquids, you can have malto-meal, oatmeal, cream of wheat, and things like that, but you need to make it really kind of runny and soupy almost. My body, though, I couldn't do oatmeal. I couldn't do oatmeal until about 9 months, maybe even 10 months after surgery. And now I can have it, but I can only have it once, maybe twice a week. It just doesn't sit well on me. I don't know why, but it doesn't. However, Malto-Meal does work. And just because the instructions tell you to make a full thing of it, what's awesome about these containers, you make the serving that it tells you to make in here, and then you put it in these little containers and put them in the fridge. Oh my goodness. You use some of the flavored stevia or the caramel Torani syrup, and you put that in here. It makes like a dessert. It tastes like a little pudding, and it's amazing. Cold, it's amazing. So there's all kinds of ways. You can have your oatmeal cold or hot. You can have your Malto-Meal cold or hot. Like I said earlier, you can have yogurts. Just add some kind of flavoring, either the jello, the powdered pudding, sugar-free, or the stevia or the Torani syrup, just a little bit, and stir it up, and it gives you some flavor. This is also the stage where you can start adding in some non-dairy, low-fat, no-fat dairy things. I never have really done well with actual milk, even 1% and no percent, but almond milk, I love it. I love almond milk. I like coconut milk and coconut water, so those things are good. Now, this is the stage because you're entering into things that are a little more thicker, and they're, remember, the bite size. You're going to get some kind of a fullness signal. Everybody does, and sometimes it switches up, and sometimes it's not the same, and sometimes it's always the same. And the thing is, you may get a runny nose. Weird, right? What does your nose have to do with your stomach? I don't know. I haven't figured that one out, but it's connected. So if you're eating and you're resting between your bites, and then you take another bite and your nose runs, that's a good signal that you need to stop. The other thing is, a lot of people get like a burp, kind of a hiccup and kind of a burp. It's kind of weird to explain until it happens to you. But it starts low, it starts down kind of low in your tummy, and it does this weird hiccup burp thing. That is your signal. Stop eating. I don't care. I do not care. I do not care. I do not care. I do not care. Even if you've only taken 2 bites. What? I've only had 2 bites of 6. Sorry. That's your tummy saying, slow down, Turbo. Slow down. I can't take anything more in right now. Now, mind you, when you start eating in this phase and the next phase, you need to spread your meal to last at least 30 minutes, if not 45. Max should be about 45 minutes though. If you're finding yourself eating an hour after you started and you're timing it and you're watching it, you're taking too long, you're eating too much, and your tummy's not going to be happy with you. Sorry, it's just how it is. So now in the full liquid stage, you're adding protein to at least 2 types of meals. You should at least be getting the protein in the 2 types of meals. That would be 60 grams. And that's sustainable. That's what you want. And that's going to work you up to the 70, 80, and 90 going from there. So some of my fun things. I did the almond milk, and it has protein. It only has 1 gram of protein, but it has 0 sugars. And so I just like it because it made things kind of creamy. This hot cocoa, oh my goodness. This one's called the Diet, and it's only 25 calories. They also have a, I think it's called low sugar or no sugar. I don't remember what it was called. It was something low sugar. And it had, oh my gosh, it had like 8 grams of sugar, 15, something crazy. I'm like, that's not low sugar. But this Diet one only has 2. It only has 2 grams of sugar in it. So you can make some hot cocoa. Yeah. Hot cocoa made with a little bit of the almond milk. Delicious. Now again, you're sipping it. You're doing that. So if you haven't invested in a thermally type cup or a drink bottle that's going to keep your things hot or cold, get one of these little coffee warmer, candle warmer things, and have your coffee cup, cocoa cup sitting on here, and it's going to keep it warm for you so that you're not drinking cold cocoa, because that doesn't taste good. Now is when you can add the colorful, fun-flavored, sugar-free things like this to your water as well. They're not going to be a food. It's going to be your liquid. You still need to get your 48 to 64 ounces. But now is also when you can add your sugar-free Fudgesicles. This is also at the stage where I started adding, this is zero tea. It's I keep on saying ginseng. Ginseng. I was right. Ginseng green tea. My tummy likes it. I can drink it. A lot of people can't. So don't worry about it. This is your trial and error stage. This is where you're going to also do your soups and your broths. This is when you can actually take that creamy soup or the chicken noodle soup. You have to blend it. You have to blitz the wadding out of it and make sure you strain it. Strain it through a cheesecloth or through a little strainer, because you still shouldn't be having chunks. No chunks. No chunks. They're not good for your tummy. Your tummy still needs to be resting like this. It doesn't need to be doing all of that exercise yet. So be gentle on that. I think that was my rest of my notes of that. The full liquid stage is what you could kind of sip through a straw if you had to, but it also will go through a funnel. Oh, here is where I had to take medicines that I had to open, and this is when they allowed me to have applesauce. No sugar added applesauce. So it could be, you know, through a straw, same like, you know, kind of the yogurt and the puddings and the jellos, but just go easy on that if you have that, because your tummy's still trying to heal. All right? So there you have it, kind of my tips, what I did, how you can get samples through places, and don't be afraid. I mean, once you get one of these flavorless protein powders, add some to your water. Put some in your water, shake it up, or use my milk frother. Oh, I love that thing from IKEA. I love it. And just blitz it up so that your water has some protein in it. You can do it with the chocolate. I mean, hello. Make yourself some chocolate water. What the heck? You can mix it up just like you would drink it cold. Put some ice in it and enjoy it. This is a time where you're going to be doing your body some good and some healing. So I just want you to enjoy it and know that you have lots of variety. Don't look at the do not have list. Instead, look at the what they say yes you can have. My doctor gave me a great one. Eggs and you can do custards, egg custards, not eggs yet. And the low carb, sugar-free, low sugar cereal, soups, vegetables. I don't like vegetable drinks. I make smoothies. Oh, this is where you can make smoothies. Ah, totally forgot. So you could put vegetables, but you need to kind of pull from things. So make sure you have some kind of protein. And then you want some kind of vegetable so that you can have some fiber and maybe a little bit of fruit so you can have some natural sweetener. My tummy did not do well with the fruits at first, so I just had to stick with the stevia, and then now I've been able to add them in. But you can have a smoothie, but again, what are you going to do? Little tiny sips, tiny, that are going to take you forever. It's going to take you forever to where that smoothie is going to taste icky and warm. That's why you want some kind of insulated thingy, because it's much more enjoyable. So there you have it. The next stage where you're going into the full liquids is really, really fun. And you can really start to experiment with different things. And you'll find that your taste buds will start to kind of come back. But you might not like what you liked before surgery. Sorry. And you might like things you didn't like before surgery. So now is the time that you're going to get to try and work on those things. So there you have it. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the week. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.